Hello. Sorry I had to make a part two. When my kids needed something. I thought I had them good and locked up for the night, but them fuckers, they're always trying to get out and, needing things. So anyway, I totally forgot where I was at. I think I was saying that someone did a real good job of, I guess I could say that the person who talks like this had asthma when they were a kid, were laying there and dying, had a vision of something happening to their grandkids in those oil bins, and so I woke up the next day and I got insurance policies on my grandchildren, and what do you know? Bingo, they paid off. Anyway, she's fucking master of puppets. I mean, how do you, as a investigator who is supposed to be open-minded and conducting an investigation, take a phone call from somebody who would have a very biased opinion and take what they say and say, okay, thanks for solving the case for me. Guess I don't have to do anything and I'll be able to keep my lunch date. And then you just do what the person said, and you don't pay any attention to the fact that this person has a pretty big payoff coming if they were right and if you say they're right. In what world would a man be able to say, gosh, I had a dream that my wife went for a jog and was ran off the road and didn't make it. And so I went down to my friendly neighborhood insurance agent and got an insurance policy on the bitch. And what do you know? It paid off because she went for a run, got ran off the road, and what do you know? I got all this money. What world would that not make you look at the person who had a vision that this scenario was going to happen, and then you got the insurance policy? Now let's just take it one step darker, okay? Trigger warning, this is going to go dark. You don't want to hear it. Go do a load of laundry or something. Let's say that you are a man, because this really brings us home. If you're a man and you say, I just had a vision that my kids were going to have a accident at the playground and not make it, and so I am going to go to my friendly neighborhood insurance agent and put a hefty life policy on my children because I had a vision that they were going to have a playground accident and not make it through it. And lo and behold, your kids, you're the man, and your kids had a playground accident, they didn't make it, and your insurance policy that you just got because you had a vision paid out. What in the hell? And this is, I think that she was even so cocky to have said it on Dr. Phil. And, Dr. Phil, I've talked to you guys about, my mixed feelings with Dr. Phil. And I think it was on Dr. Phil where she said it, and a lot of people didn't catch it for a long time. But she straight up said that, she had a dream that Christopher, went and did something to those girls and put them in the oil tanks. And the very next day she went and she got an insurance policy on them all. So then when he did it, her insurance paid off. I am sorry, but you know what? To even have those thoughts, what would make you want money out of it? Would you want a damn dollar off of a tragedy like that? And you let that thing that you had a vision of come to life? I have a problem with that, and I don't understand why the investigators didn't. So then, there's no way that you can tell me, you being you, that Miss Jack-o'-lantern teeth herself, N.A., and her freaky ass Mohawk kid did not go into that house before they called 911. There's no way. There is no way. Because when she walked her fat ass into that house, lying, acting like she hadn't been in that house, she wasn't yelling out for her friend who she felt may have fallen down and for the girls. She didn't go in screaming and yelling. The officer did. He announced himself as per protocol. He actually did something right that time, but if she was really worried, and it's like, no, she was acting real weird. She was doing the pee-pee dance, when you have to pee and you go back and forth. Well, yeah, that is also, the lying dance. When you're lying, you're stammering back and forth. And that kid, there's no way that kid went running in. And I don't have any of my friends' kids running around my house looking through my couch cushions and doing weird shit. So bizarre. I mean, how many people did it take in a day for that woman to get anything done and still not manage to get anything done? I mean, who are all of these people who knew so much about her and helped her? And now you see here is that N.A. had to be in on a lot of shit. She was probably, SW and N.A. were kind of that kind of friends where they were just going along with stuff. And I think that some of the facial expressions of N.A. show that she's not down with all of this. Unless she just needs to go to the bathroom. Because she does kind of look like she's constipated. But it is my theory at this point that she started calling SW in the morning to see how the doctor's visit went. And she wasn't answering, and they're like, okay, what the heck? Because usually by this time, there's Shanann calling and telling us all about everything about how everything is going, and she's not called yet. And we haven't heard about all of the things. I mean, she was updating on them that she had not taken a crap in 2 weeks, updating them that it hurt when she peed, updating them that she was spotting and cramping, and that Christopher would not have sex with her. Not that any woman feeling those things would want to have sex, but she did. And so if all of those things were going on, and she was telling all of the people, they were all at this MLM thing to learn about MLM things, and she was dominating all of them, telling them all of those things that weekend too. And that's how it came about that her blood sugar was low and whatnot. She wasn't diabetic, which is really weird that NA would say that, because NA knew what diabetes was because she was a CNA. Shanann was not diabetic. Was she feeling like crap and was pregnant? And she had a fully formed gallstone. Had she went to the doctor and gotten any prenatal care, or went, maybe that gallstone was bothering her for quite a while. She had a fully formed gallstone. That could have been dilating her gallbladder and making her feel like shit for a long time. And it's interesting that that was not caught. that is a pregnancy complication of having a gallbladder attack and needing to have your gallbladder taken out while you're pregnant. But it happens. And so she could have had cholecystitis, you know what I'm talking about. She could have had that, and that would have explained a lot of her symptoms. The nausea, the dehydration, the not being able to crap, the painful urination because she's dehydrated, the increased nausea, it fits. So while we look at that autopsy and say, hey, this isn't here and this isn't here, well, this is here, and this is a big piece of the puzzle. And it's interesting to me that people, will be like, well, she had one gallstone. Other than that, she was healthy. No, she had one gallstone. That could have really been something that was one of these mystery things that didn't make her feel very good. And how they did not notice that through all of the times and all of the doctors that she went to prior to not getting prenatal care. And all the flights she was on having a gallbladder emergency, she really, really, really may not have been feeling good. But anyway, I truly believe that NA was like, what the fuck? Why isn't she answering the phone? This is not normal. She calls up Sandra. Sandra answers the phone. Yeah, what's up? I gotta get down to the salon. I gotta shop. I got an appointment at 10. And NA's like, well, I've called Shanann and she's not answering the phone and she's supposed to go to the doctor and I don't know because wasn't she not going to take the girls to school? I don't know what's going on. And it's just not right because, like, what if she's just, like, so sick and, like, vomiting all over everything and everything? Because she was really not looking good last night. And her mom's probably like, well, didn't you just drop her off a few hours ago? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Christopher did something to her. She's like, yeah, you're right. She's like, get in that house and look, go find her, get her up. So then NA made a special point of saying that, the door was locked by that chain. Well, with that kid she had who could climb all over fences and in a single bound and do everything else, come on, you're going to tell me that little chain isn't going to stop you? Come on. She would have just had to open it just a little bit and had her kid, nimble as he was, push that chain up. They got in the house. They went and they looked around and she was gone. There was no sign of her, and they saw her car in the garage because they exited through the garage. But before they exited the garage, they made sure to put the chain back. And there you go. So then they had to go and make a whole scenario because then, Sandra's like, well, I know that Christopher did something. I know he's probably put them in the oil tanks because I had a vision that she did. And I've already got an insurance policy about this. So, you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to, you cannot let them know that you already went in the house because you're going to get in a lot of trouble. But you need to make a 911 call because you need to place the call because that's what happened. Now, the only possible person who would have thought that was weird would be Nosy Nate, right? Because Nosy Nate's always standing there on the frickin' deck looking at things. So, she would have had to have told Nosy Nate, like, hey, go look on your security camera and see if you see anything weird because she's not answering her phone. And I don't like it because I just dropped her off and she was supposed to go to the doctor. She's been sick. She didn't go to the doctor the whole time she was in North Carolina. And she's not been able to poop in 2 weeks. And she's cramping and bleeding. And over the weekend, our friend who's a nurse checked her blood sugar and it was low. And so we told her she had to go to the doctor because, at this point she's probably dehydrated. I mean, my thought, if I was her friend in that, I would have thought she went to the emergency room. I would have thought that, if she was saying that she was a little bit further along than she was in the pregnancy for whatever reason. We know our reasons. But, so if she was a woman saying that she's in her second trimester, not able to crap for 2 weeks, spotting, cramping, lightheaded, headaches, blood sugar was low. Number one, she shouldn't have been on an airplane from North Carolina back and forth to Colorado, and then hop on another plane to go and party for a weekend from Colorado to Arizona to back to Arizona and be seen drinking wine and everything else. But you know what? That's a whole different thing. But then if you're that sick, don't put big caffeine patches on you. I mean, honestly, caffeine makes me feel like I'm going to vomit all the time. I have to be really careful about how much caffeine I intake versus, making sure that I don't have an empty stomach. And you're not supposed to have caffeine when you're pregnant anyway. Do most of us? Yeah, but we try to limit it to 1 cup of coffee a day or 1 Coca-Cola a day. But she had those patches on that had all the different forms of caffeine. That makes you feel like shit. That would have been my thing. I've been like, take the stickers off. All of that caffeine is dehydrating you. That's what her nurse friend should have been saying. But because they're both selling this product that they're pretending paid for everything, they can't say that. But she should have said it. But anyway. She was dehydrated. She really was. Autopsy says that. Now, the ruse woman from that point orchestrated this like a puppet show. Like every single person was her personal marionette. The discovery says it all. It says right in there that the mother said that he did this and they formed the case to fit that mold. They did not look at the facts and the truth. And the facts and the truth are not known to this point at all. It's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to SW. It's certainly not fair to the girls. And it's not fair to CW. And whoever else is involved. I mean, there's no way. Now, Neeks Peaks, like I say, for a while. So those of us who are sensitive, who are vibrating on a certain level, who understand each other in the ways that we do, we are seeing things, and maybe it's because we are victims of a not so great childhood. Okay. I have not went into the details of my horrible ass fucking childhood, but I will at some point. But we didn't need all of these videos. Those of us who are in this group of ours that we are, who are able to see each other and understand each other, even though we've not met each other, we're talking. We're communicating. We're on this level. Okay? We're truth warriors. We're the TWs. We're not TWATS. So when Neeks Peaks, I've not watched the one that she let out today, but I need to see that one definitely. The one that she did last week where she took out the extra noise so you could hear what was actually going on with Cece in the toilet. And then when she went over, paused her commercial, and went over and got Cece, and you hear that pause, something terrible, and that scream followed by the cry by Cece. And those of us who know that cry, who've let that cry, who've our own ears have heard our own bodies cry in that way, we know what happened. And it was really tough to hear. And I mean, talk about a stomach ache. I mean, it gave me a stomach ache to hear it. And Neeks does a great job of letting the truth show itself, because people who were not abused, who were fortunate enough to not be victimized by adults, don't see what we see, don't hear what we hear. They need a whole entire coloring book with lots of crayons to illustrate all this. Because there were several of us, talking about whoa and what we heard and what we know, that Cece was eating her own feces and eating the dog's feces, and often inside the toilet, and to the point where Shanann took all the water out of the toilet in the upstairs bathroom between the girls because she couldn't trust that Cece wasn't going to continue to drink out of the toilet. These are facts, folks. These are facts. Don't come for me. And, in the videos when she had seen Cece, eating her own poop, and she'd just say, oh, I've got to go get her some milk so her stomach doesn't get upset. It's not normal for a child to eat their own shit. That's not normal. It's not normal for a child of 3 to drink out of a toilet. But you have these idiots who sit there and say that it is normal. And it just makes you wonder what is going on in their homes, right? So Neeks has went through and just really put together the videos in a way that just show people, because you had all these people before, like, oh, well, you can't tell that she's a bad parent just from that. Come on. Everybody's eaten a turd or two in their life. You're going to act like you haven't eaten your own dung? Yeah. But anyway, so Neeks got a whole ration of harassment, I guess, because I saw her comment to somebody. She was apologizing for coming off a little bit strong. And she said it had just been a really rough day, that her and her mods were just attacked for that video. And then, once again, who the fuck are these people? They're like, you know what? So what if there's absolute child abuse? So what? What does it matter? Well, it matters because those girls aren't here to explain what happened. And the people who should have been standing up for them and giving them a voice didn't. And those people who didn't give them a voice are making a fortune right now. And they're continuing to do so, and they will continue to do so, which takes away money and resources from people who actually need it. And that's a problem. And I literally, an hour ago, saw another creator who puts up these videos of her. I literally saw with my own eyeballs over and over women saying, she's so amazing with the girls. She's so wonderful. I want to be just like her. Because of her, I've become a different mom. I want to be her. It's like, okay, no. You don't want to be a woman who locks up your children 15 out of 24 hours a day. You don't want to be a woman who drugs your children every night with medications that are not supposed to be given to your child. Why would you want to be that? So your house can be clean and you can have time to put on a bunch of makeup? And then there's the people who say that, you know what, the MLMs just ruined that family and she got taken advantage of the MLMs. Come on, people. She is the one person who mastered the art of scamming the MLM. She took advantage of the MLMs. Those weekend getaways, She turned into a shenanigans that all of the attention was for her. When you look at the texts, somebody had a problem or a question about a situation with this product that they're supposed to be selling, and she gave it maybe 2 seconds to write, yeah, text so-and-so. And they're like, but text so-and-so. And then she went on and on about herself and about how CW wouldn't put out. She exploited the exploiter. Now, you still have the idiots that say she had to go on those vacations because she sold enough that she got them and they were free, so she had to go. And she had to go because she was required. No. But she got her car allowance for doing this and everything, and so she got a car out of doing this. No. Let me break this down for you. These aren't exact numbers, but this is an example. I don't have my crayons handy, but I should. She basically took every single fucking dollar that her husband made when he got up in the morning and went to work to go and provide for the family. Took every single fucking dollar that he made. Did not let him know how to get into the bank account or see the account, to the effect that when the officers were there asking him to look in the bank account to see if she had taken any of the money, he said, I don't know how to look at my own money. I don't know how to get into my account. I don't know my password. And then her big-ass friend N.A. says, I know the password. Isn't that funny? You don't let your own husband who's making all the money know the password of your bank account, but you let your buddy, who's covering for you on everything, literally, get in the mail when you're gone so that he doesn't see the mail? Because the mail is saying that she's not made the house payment in how many months? And that house is going to be foreclosed upon because she's not made the house payments? And you guys are going to be homeless, so she's running off trying to see if she can get another man fast because she's not going to be homeless. She's got to keep up this facade because she's scamming the scammer. And she's scamming her husband. So, let's say that her husband gets up in the morning every day, goes to work, gets the girls ready, takes them to school. So she has all day to fiddle fuck around. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to buy this much product today because, there's this much money in the bank. I'm going to do that. Okay. So basically, I'm going to spend $5,000 this month, and then that qualifies me for this, and that qualifies me for this, and then that qualifies me for my car bonus. So she puts $5,000 in. They cut her back a check of $800 to pay the car payment. And then because she bought that much stuff, then that kept her at a level, and then she made her other family members and her husband sign up. So she had to buy enough product for him too, because then he was her downline and her family was her downline, and they were all paying all of this. And then it was paying for her to qualify to go to a vacation, and she'd have to pay to go to this meeting and pay to go to that meeting. Sure, they might have paid for the hotel, but they don't pay for the airfare and everything. Who told you they did? You get these people and they're like, oh no, they pay for everything. No, they don't. You have to pay to go here. You have to pay for your hotel. You have to pay for your airfare. You have to pay for your rental car. You have to pay for your food. How'd she have money for all of that? Because she took every single dollar that he was making and put it into that and told everybody else that she was getting these free vacations. Everything was all paid. She was telling everybody this, and people believed it. So sure, why don't you try that? Why don't, if you want to be like her, why don't you go and take your husband's money, and every dollar that he makes, you go and you put into an MLM so that then you can go away on a vacation. And people are like, well, she just wanted to help people. No, she wanted to help herself. She wanted to go on another vacation because she hated being a mother. You don't lock your kids up and not give them food, water, or toilet privileges for 15 hours out of a 24-hour day if you love being a mom. You don't. Where is there ever a time when she got together with other moms and their kids, and they went on a little vacation with the girls, with the kids. Where is there a time where she went with her friends and they all took their kids together to the park? Where is there a time when she got together with her friends and they all took the kids to the mall? Where is there a time when they went and they all took the kids out for pizza? You saw how Bella was craving the pizza so bad that she was on the floor banging her hands. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Because she didn't even let them have things like pizza. This is not okay. This is not what you want to aspire for, and we need to work together to let other young mothers know that they are doing a great job. That if they are taking care of the house when their husband is out making the money and they're making the money go far, see that woman, recognize that young mom, and tell her she's doing a good job. Because what people saw in her is not what we should be letting people aspire to be, because it was a lie and it caused massive amount of stress, massive amounts of lies, and we don't know what happened in that house that ended it all. We don't know. But something happened and something was building up to it. Is she responsible for it? No. Does she deserve it? No. But there were people around who, rather than standing up for those girls, went and made sure that they'd be covered monetarily if anything happened to them. How backwards is that? Shouldn't she have said, I woke up and had this horrible nightmare. I had this premonition that this is going to happen, and I don't want this to happen. So what is going on? What made me think that way? And talk to her daughter and say, what the hell are you doing that made me have this fear? Do you know that she had not been back to North Carolina since she ran away from the embezzlement charges once? She was that close to her family that she hadn't been back in how many years? She started using her family when they could be built-in babysitters so she could go on these vacations that she was scamming the scammer to be going on. That's not somebody who you want to be at all. And that is so sad, because these girls, when they got a water bottle for Christmas, they got a water bottle. And they were so excited because why? Is that what you give your kids for Christmas? Is that what you want to be? You want to give them a cup so they can put some water in it? And then if they're really, really good and they stop sucking their thumb, you'll let them have barrettes. But if they're bad, you're going to give them another haircut. My daughter had a drawer of barrettes and headbands. She was like 3 months old. I never made it be a big present for her. Don't give your children the necessities of life for gifts. Don't do it. And then you have the people who come at me and they're like, she couldn't afford therapy. She couldn't afford to go and get prenatal care. Well, she could afford to pay for all those vacations, but they were free. No, she bought them. People don't understand the whole way that the pyramid scheme works at all. It is very confusing, and there are certain MLMs that do like all expense paid, blah, 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 blah. But that all expense does not cover all expenses. Okay? And there are others that don't cover any expenses. But the vision out there that you get everything paid for is so deeply ingrained in people's minds that they won't listen. And it's going to take somebody to really break down the numbers. And I think that there are really good creators who have done this. Cece Suarez does a lot of exposing of MLMs. Hannah Alonso does really good. Oh my God, and Hannah Alonso is pregnant. I'm so happy for her. She got her pregnancy test back. They'd been trying, I think, for 2 months. Do you know who Hannah Alonso is? Oh my God, she's so pretty. So HannahAlanco, I believe. Um, she's just like the salt of the earth, beautiful, beautiful girl. She doesn't say any of the bad words. So like, if you guys, want to find somebody who's the salt of the earth, just she's so beautiful. And her and her husband, she's a teacher, and I think he's in the military. And so they've been trying for 2 months. And on the second month, she's pregnant. So she's like in her fourth month, and she's just so pretty. But she does a really good job of breaking down the MLMs, and an amazing teacher. So she breaks it down. Cece Suarez, so CCSUAREZ, does a lot of good exposure on MLMs. Um, and then I cannot remember the other one. Gosh, what's her name right now? I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. She goes by Mommy Tsunami. And I can't think of what her name is. Oh, Savannah. Savannah Marie? Savannah Marie? I think that's it. SAVANNAHMARIE. And they do a really good job of breaking it down and letting you know. And I'm going to have to just research this so that I can explain to you guys that she was buying the vacations with his salary rather than making the house payments and HOA payments. She was doing that. So when it's comes back to me that, well, she couldn't afford this and that. No, she took the entire salary and bought MLM shit so that she could buy all these vacations so that she did not have to be at home, because she was not happy at home. She was not happy being a mom. She was happy on her vacations away from her responsibilities. That's the truth. And she got her fingernails done every freaking week, right? I mean, her fingernails were done. All the makeup, all of the MLMs that she was a part of. She was a part of so many of them at any one given time. So it's a matter of priorities. You can't say that, oh, you can't afford therapy when you're going on a vacation every freaking other week, and your nails are done and your makeup, and don't they had great insurance too. So yes, they could have. Yes, they could have. And what else was I thinking about? Oh gosh, I didn't even do my disclaimer. I just looked at that. My channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Mine is a commentary channel, gossip channel. 80% of it's true, 20% of it's not. Or is it that? Only 20% of it is true, 80% of it is not. You decide. What I do like is when we can get together in these conversations and I can provide a teaching opportunity. I am not mom shaming. I am trying to get the truth of what actually was going on in that home out there, because that's the truth. And I'm trying to give a voice to the voiceless, and I'm trying to advocate for the little girls that couldn't advocate for themselves, so that when other people see a situation potentially like this, they can look further and address potentially abusive and harmful behavior to prevent that abuse from continuing. The people who I do talk about are public figures, as they made themselves. And so, as people believe that they are mentors, well, we need to get the truth out there. And this has been kind of a cut up video, and I'm just sorry that it's just so disorganized. I just have all of these little loose ends from questions that people have and the emails that I'm getting, and keep them coming. I love them. My email address is tabithajane0@gmail.com. And let me see here. Oh, somebody else said the other day too, about the Baby Wise. And please listen to my Baby Wise expose to see that that was a flex, that what she was doing was not taught by Baby Wise. I got an email. I don't want to really address this, but I just will quickly. I got an email of somebody asking me if I thought it could be true that I can't even. That SW. I can't even do this. Okay, I got this email from this person, and they asked me if they thought it was true because they had heard that SW had went to North Carolina for the last 6 weeks of her life because she was postpartum. That she got on the plane when she started going to labor, and she went into labor in North Carolina. So she boarded the plane when she was getting ready to hatch a baby, because she was huge apparently, and she gave birth to a baby, and it was a surrogate to get her out of debt, and they didn't care that she didn't have any prenatal care. And so then she had to be, taken care of because she was in her postpartum days, and then flew back home. And I don't know what to say to that because it's preposterous, and I feel really bad that the person would think that. And so I'm just gonna be as nice as I can and say, no, no, no. I don't think that's true, hun. I don't know where you heard that, hun. But that would mean that the pictures where she was showing where she was 15 weeks to the side would have been what? Postpartum? And why would she continue to tell her parents, her friends, everybody that she was pregnant? And when she turned around and went to Arizona, why would she have continued to complain about the pregnancy symptoms? And in North Carolina, texting her friends about the pregnancy symptoms and the problems she was having. And then, are we to say that the whole entire autopsy with the fetus measurements and all, and her uterus that was prolapsed because she had evacuated the fetus, we're supposed to say that that didn't happen at all and that doesn't exist? And so then that we would have to say that the whole entire medical examiner's office, the entire staff, the medical examiner's office, and the CBI who got the fetus, we're supposed to say that they are all in on this. And then where's that baby? And we're supposed to believe that this baby, this person who got this baby has not came up for a big payout with the son or whatever and said, SW flew to North Carolina to hatch this child for us. And then we're supposed to say that then Christopher Watts being charged with the termination of a fetus and tampering with a fetus, those charges should be revoked. And so then the prosecutor would have not had any evidence of said fetus. So then those charges are all wrong. So then those can be taken off. And so as long as we're taking those off, why not take the rest of those charges off? Yeah, I don't think so. And if we think about it from her point of view, why would she still be acting sick and pregnant if she really wasn't pregnant at all? I mean, she was pregnant. I mean, come on, oh God. Anyway, why wouldn't she have just been like, "Oh, I just expelled that fetus. I feel so much better. I just got a big payout. Big money, big money. Let's go buy some ugly ass shoes from Payless." I mean, what? Wouldn't she have felt a whole lot better? Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I get some weird emails, and I'm sorry to the person who wrote me this email. I'm trying to be as nice as I can, but it just there would just have to be a whole lot of no. Um, I mean, then at that point, you might as well say this whole thing is a psyop. I mean, honest to God. Um, yeah, that's all I have in that note there to myself about that email. And then let's see. Mm, mm. And then, okay, if that were true, but even this is what I don't understand is honestly like, what kind of a name is Nico? CW is having an affair with a woman named Nicole. Okay, in her mind. They were separated. She was with another Chris. He was with a Nicole. Okay? Either way, she's carrying a baby. Who suggested the name Nicole? Or Nico Lee if it's a boy? Did Christopher Watts do that? Did he say, "I really like the name Nicole"? Did he doodle it somewhere? And he had to cover and say, "That's the name that I'd like to name our baby." And then if it's a boy, let's just split it in the middle and go Nico Lee. I don't know. But here is another little check mark to show that there was absolutely not anywhere, no way, ultrasound. There was no ultrasound prior to her demise. And here's another reason how we know. In the discovery, she told her friend that she got Christopher to turn around and agree to go to marital counseling because she gave him the good news that she was having a boy while she was still in North Carolina. Boom. Bada bing. Okay? Still in North Carolina. Remember, the ultimate legend is that she came back home and did the ultrasound. Hold, please. The washer is having a spasm. I gotta go look at this. I'll be right back. Grab yourself a drink or something. Boo boo, keep everybody company. I'm back, but just for a second. I'm so sorry I had to make you guys wait for that. My washer is just coming undone, and here it is, freaking almost 3 in the morning. Of course, the kids have to do their laundry in the middle of the freaking night because why not? Right? Thought I'd be able to get a good video in and everything, and I'm sorry that I've had to keep doing this. I'm sorry. I've got to run out in just a second when the thing goes again. But there was honestly no ultrasound. The whole thing, because I've searched and searched and searched, because if you look in the police report too, it says it was well known that the Watts were having a boy. And so I keep going through and it's like, okay, well known, well, where? And when I found the one news article where it showed the timeline, they put up this giant ass baby, and that was at Father's Day, and that baby would have been only like 4 to 6 weeks, and it was a full grown ass baby. And at 4 to 6 weeks, they're still like sea monkeys with a tail and fins and everything. But maybe not with Thrive. Maybe Thrive makes these babies look full grown, because for a 3D ultrasound like that, don't you have to be like 22 weeks or something? I don't know. And then the other one, the year is cut off. Like, she texted it to somebody, and it was supposed to be like that she had just gotten it, but she had not been to the doctor at all. So where did that one come from? And it was a pretty big size peanut. Like, it would not have been that size of a peanut for where she was at, because the size of the fetus for the crown to rump measurement, we are talking centimeters, like 10 to 12 centimeters. So when you see that ultrasound that she's trying to say, or whoever is trying to say was what she posted at that point, going backwards from the date of the fetus being 14 to 16 weeks, I mean, there's no way. There is no way. And then here is the other big kicker. Y'all ready? The fetus taken out and measured. The gender was not able to be determined. So by a medical examiner and his staff who had this fetus and were measuring it, it did not have a wiener. Okay? It said that the gender could not be determined. Tell me, if you see this fetus with your eyeballs and you could not determine the gender, then how on earth could an ultrasound have determined the gender? It couldn't have. When you have a boy, they look for the turtle sign, okay? And it's their ween, and occasionally, gets mistaken for an umbilical cord, or umbilical cord gets mistaken for a ween. But if they had this baby fetus, 14-week-old fetus, that the gender was not visible, and the only way that a fetus could be determined the gender at that time is with a blood test, and she did not have any prenatal care, so there's no blood test. You have to get that all the way off the table and say it was only by ultrasound. They do a measurement of the nub, the bump, basically if the boy was an Enoch at that time. So no. Over. There was no ultrasound. She said it was a boy because that was the one way that she thought that she could get him to stay and go to marriage counseling. And then we all know that she would have gotten back and not went to marital counseling at all. It was just a mess. They were separating. They were moving towards divorce. That was agreed upon. But she said she was telling her different friends different things. And in that different thing to the different friend, that is where it looks like we can really say, okay, this is where this became this folk legend of it being a boy. But then, like I say, who had any proof of her and him making that choice of the name. Um, and what are the coincidences of you naming your child of the person that you're sleeping with and still married, even though you're separated? And it just doesn't seem like, I mean, Bella, Cece, Nico, I mean, it just doesn't really seem like that kind of name that would have fit in. And I think that the way that legend went is that that was told to the brother. So the brother knew that she wanted to name the baby Nicole. I don't know. Well, like I say, I'm sorry this is kind of a crappy video. I'm just kind of trying to catch up on all of the things that I've gotten in the emails and the questions and stuff. And I am going out of town this weekend. Not far, but just enough. I really like fall leaves, and I want to take some pictures of them and stuff. So just to kind of do that. And I've still just been really busy and just kind of like a squirrel with a new season and everything. And I just, like I say, some of these emails bewilder me, but, and I don't know how to address them. Do you know what I mean? Do you guys know what I mean? So like I say, I'm sorry I'm sorry this video sucks. I'm sorry I give you really shitty content. I am sorry. Please forgive me for this one being an off one. It was just bits and bobs, as they call it, going through kind of unfinished business. I will give you a quality video next week when my head is screwed back on right and I'm not trying to wrangle the washer and dryer, you know. Anyway, I'm going to close like this, and I'm sorry I suck. Please forgive me for this one. And thank you all for listening, and thank you all for being so amazing and being my little group of 600 that we're all just grooving together. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.